Our company is one that has certainly made its mark in the world in marketing as well as in service to mankind. The Juice Plus Company is actually a company that is almost 50 years old. We're sneaking up on 50 years, and we're 48 years old now, and in 2020 we'll cross the mark of 50 years. The company itself was founded by a man by the name of Jay Martin. He was a very young man. It was his baby then, and it's still his baby today. And we feel very blessed because we do a lot of good in many different ways. The company started back in 1970 as the company who introduced fire alarm and smoke detector equipment to the marketplace, and obviously that went very well. And we were the company that initiated that. They diversified over the years, going into the field of water filtration and air filtration in the early 80s. And from there, diversifying once again in the early 90s to go into the field of health technology with Juice Plus and the Juice Plus family of products. And all of those products have been extremely successful and just wonderful service as far as the very basic things that people need: safety, clean air, clean water, and pure food. And certainly Juice Plus has, I think, been the find of both last century and this century, certainly not only for our own health and well-being, a pure food product, which has also been for the people that we love and those that we come across on a daily basis. And tonight we're very blessed to have someone speak to us. She's come to us before in times past, and we always appreciate her expertise and her information. And I'll give you a little background. Our special speaker tonight is Mary Demakes. She's an RN. She is a speaker, trainer, healthcare community leader. She is geriatric manager and advocate and has quite a background of service to others. Her education background is BSN degree, Southern Connecticut State College, St. Raphael School of Nursing, 1972 pediatric specialty at Yale University and Yale New Haven Hospital, participant Harvard School of Public Health and Nurses Health Study, and recipient of Mayo Clinic Certificate of Medical Research and Education, American Heart Association instructor for cardiovascular health, and Alzheimer's Support Group instructor and educator. So certainly a wealth of knowledge and a great benefit to us. She's going to talk about the benefits of Juice Plus for the elderly. And so, Mary, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, and thank you, everyone, for being on this call tonight. We really do love our elderly. I was introduced to Juice Plus by my cousin, Joan Demakes. She invited me to a wellness presentation 12 years ago. Well, I really didn't want to go because I had been working a 12-hour day in the medical profession, and I was really exhausted. But when they said they were going to serve wine and cheese, I said, of course I'll come. And so I went, and they showed a DVD of a doctor who was an oncologist, and she was talking about the benefits of fruits and vegetables in treating breast cancer. And that really got my attention. But that night I didn't purchase the Juice Plus. I was still a little curious, what is this? And how do they get those 15 raw fruits and vegetables into those little capsules? So two nights later, I was invited to another wellness presentation. Well, at that presentation, they had showed a DVD of 4 doctors, and they talked about the benefits of fruits and vegetables in our diet, but they also talked about the clinical research that the product had that showed the evidence of the benefits of the fruits and vegetables. So with that, I came back to my office and I looked at the research and I studied it because I was really curious on how this really worked. And when I looked at the clinical research, I was convinced that this was a good product. I started taking the fruit and vegetable myself, and I had really good results. Within a week, I had more energy. I was less tired. And so I began to share it with my husband and my son. And at that time, my son had severe acne, and it was really debilitating for him because he didn't want to go out, and he felt self-confident, and he just felt ashamed of his face. So the acne improved and it went away. So my son, he was so happy. He started going out, making friends, and it improved his whole self-confidence on what he looked like. And my husband improved in his, he had high blood pressure, he had high cholesterol, he was overweight, and all of his numbers had improved to the point where his medications could be reduced with the consent of his physician. We always talk to our physicians about whether or not we can reduce our medication because the numbers improve, and the doctors are always so good and willing to review any of the improvement in the blood work and the numbers. So that was really good. So after my family had such great results with the Juice Plus, I started to share it with my clients. And I have a geriatric practice. We're in Marblehead, Massachusetts, and many of my elderly clients come to me already with chronic disease. And many of these chronic diseases, I'm going to name some of these chronic diseases so you get an understanding of how compromised elderly people become as they age year after year. We look at memory loss, Alzheimer's disease. We look at dementia, Parkinson's disease, osteoporosis, cardiovascular disease, coronary artery disease, diabetes, spinal stenosis, chronic pain, hip fractures, strokes, TIAs, congestive heart failure, atrial fibrillation, increased blood pressure, hypertension, increased cholesterol, respiratory disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, emphysema. We look at sleep apnea, frequent falls, inability to feel well, failure to thrive, and nutritionally deprived brain disease because of alcoholism. So I just named those because I want you to get a real understanding of how compromised the elderly become year after year because of inflammation. And as we age, our bodies become less able to fight the free radical accumulation and the oxidative stress causing the inflammation in our bodies, which causes the chronic disease. We often see our clients coming to us with a lack of good diet. They lack the nutritional vitamin, mineral, and resources in their diet to live healthy, productive lives. So they become compromised and develop infections. And they not only develop infections, but chronic disease. When we introduce the Juice Plus, which is the fruit, vegetable, and berries, into their diet, they become able to nourish those cells that are damaged, causing that chronic disease. Now, we see a lot of memory loss, Alzheimer's patients. We might see 90% of our clients have some sort of memory loss. It may not always be Alzheimer's disease, but it's some dementia, it's memory loss, it's brain damage due to stroke, or a vascular kind of dementia where the blood flow doesn't reach their brain cells and there's damage. So what I'm trying to say is that we can improve their diet by giving them the nutrition by adding the Juice Plus fruit, vegetable, and berries. And the reason we do this is so we can reduce the inflammation in their bodies. And, so oftentimes people say, oh, I have saggy, ugly skin because I'm old. But believe it or not, aging of the skin is not the fault of old age or bad genes. It's the result of inflammation, and it has to do with the inflammation of these leukocytes. But I'm not going to go into medical terms, but we can improve all aspects of our elderly by introducing the proper nutrients, vitamins, minerals of the dietary program that you give them on a daily basis. Now, oftentimes elderly people are very resistant. They don't want to improve their diet. They say, I'm old and I'm going to die anyways, and I've had this disease for a long period of time, and I've given up. Well, you don't have to give up, because we have the tools, we have the resources in the product called Juice Plus. So, you have to kind of talk to them, because they're very set in their ways, and they've lived, their life for a very long time with the kind of diet they think is good. So what we do is we encourage them to add slowly fruits, vegetables, and berries on a daily basis. We put it into their dietary program. We sit down with them, and we talk to them how this value will add to their health. And oftentimes they say, I take too many pills, I can't fit it in. Well, we had a patient who was blind. She was diabetic, and she was bedridden. And when we gave her the the Garden Juice Plus, we opened up the capsule and we put it into her mashed potatoes. And she said to the nurse, "This broccoli is delicious." So it's how you present your Juice Plus product. She was so nutritionally deprived that she could actually feel the deliciousness in the Juice Plus garden, and we were so delighted to see her so happy. Well, this woman's condition improved so that she was able to get out of bed. She was walking. She was much healthier, and she was less compromised because the nutrition from the Juice Plus had begun to reduce the inflammation in her body. She also had diabetes, which also compromised her ability to fight and the inflammation and the oxidative stress and the free radical accumulation. She wasn't able to do that because she didn't have the antioxidants and the proper nutrients to help her. So when we came in and we adjusted her nutritional program and we added the Juice Plus fruit, vegetable, and berries, she began to have the strong immune system, and she was less compromised and able to function on a daily basis. She was able to walk and get out of bed, which for us it was such a miracle that we were able to just go in and change her diet and see these kinds of results. And not only is it adding the fruits and vegetables to the diet, but you're adding nutrients to each and every cell in their body, and therefore reducing that inflammation. Inflammation is it's ugly. Inflammation is so damaging, and it destroys so much of the cells and the function and the ability of our bodies. Now, when we see our Alzheimer's patients, they come in and they present themselves with Alzheimer's disease, but they also have high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And, they come in and they say, well, here, I've taken these 10 vitamins all my life, and they came from Paris. They're very expensive. And I say, well, they don't work. We don't have any evidence that vitamins and minerals work by reducing inflammation. There's no clinical evidence-based research that shows that. So we told them to please put those aside and let us put together a nutritional program with the Juice Plus product. And they say, what is that? Well, it's fruit, vegetable, and berries in a capsule, and it's antioxidants that can help to reduce the inflammation in your body. It can help you to reduce your cholesterol and your blood pressure and help you with all of the inflammation in those brain cells that cause that memory loss. Now, we know that our brain has 100 billion brain cells, and we know that the damage that's that causes the Alzheimer's, we now know it's caused by inflammation. We know that the inflammation causes the oxidative stress, the free radicals, and it causes the lipid peroxidation of the brain cells. So we do know that now. So we know inflammation is one of the factors that causes the damage and death and plaques and tangles in the brain that causes Alzheimer's disease. So it's very interesting to see someone come into your office that takes 10 different vitamins all their life, spends thousands and thousands of dollars, and presents themselves with many chronic illnesses. So we now know that vitamins and minerals don't work, but we do know that the product, Juice Plus, fruits, vegetables, berries, the antioxidants really helps to nourish those cells, helps to heal, repair damage to the cells and to the tissues. And we know by seeing how our clients function after they've been taking the product for 4 months, 6 months, and 1 year, because we can also look at the blood work of these patients that are suffering from, for example, severe arthritis. We know that by adding the Juice Plus and the anti-inflammation by the antioxidants in the product, we know that we can take their blood work and we can look at the inflammation in their body by looking at the blood work, and we can see the numbers come way down, and we can see that the patients are moving much more easily, and they're struggling with less pain, and they have less stiffness in their joints. And sometimes it's very hard for them to even button their shirts, but once the inflammation becomes reduced, they begin to function better. They begin to be able to move around and go out and enjoy a daily walk. So, those are some of the things that we really see in the improvement by reducing that free radical and reducing the inflammation by the oxidative stress. But much of the damage is done to all of our cells, but there's organ inflammation too. And we do know that a lot of our patients suffer from a lot of GI, gastrointestinal diseases and inflammation. And we do know that we have seen a lot of patients with colitis and diarrhea and diverticulitis and constipation and irritable bowel syndrome and all kinds of symptoms from the GI tract, from the digestive tract, from the disease and the inflammation there. And we do see by adding, what we do add is not only the fruit, vegetable, and berries for the inflammation. I find in my practice, I love adding the complete protein, the Juice Plus complete protein that has 13 grams of high protein, and it has fiber in it, and it's all plant-based. So the inflammation begins to reduce itself just by adding the complete and the Juice Plus fruit, vegetable, and berry. And sometimes the patients say that it's soothing. It's soothing in their digestional tract. They may have some heartburn, or they may have some type of regurgitation with their digestion. But when you add the complete, and oftentimes they'll say, well, it's too much to drink the whole complete, 1 glass. They can have half in the morning, half in the afternoon, or they can just have a couple of ounces in the morning, a couple of ounces noontime. You want to be able to have them tolerate it, so you want to make it easy for them. If they say it's too much to take at one time, you can compromise and say take 2 ounces now and 4 ounces later. You'll find that their digestion becomes less and less irritated, and the inflammation process in their digestive tract. Now, you have to understand that our digestive tract is 30 feet long. So they're not going to recover in 1 week. They have to do this process for a number of weeks to get the full benefit of all of the inflammation decreasing. And we do know that after 4 months, we do see a significant healing power with the Complete and the Juice Plus antioxidant fruit, vegetable, and berries. It's just amazing. And even in ulcers, we do recommend that they take the Complete. They add that to their diet, and they do see very, very good results. I would like to share some of my clients, some of the stories. I've never done this before, but I'd like to do that tonight. I have patient A, aged 86 years old, and she had severe bone loss in her upper mouth. And she went to 6 specialist doctors before she came to me. And they said, there's no hope for you. You're going to lose all your teeth, and you'll never have upper teeth again. So she presented this to me, and I said that we would go and research it together, her and I. And I started her on the Juice Plus and, of course, the Complete and Omega. And we went to a top specialist in the Massachusetts area, and he said he could help us. Now, I knew that he would be someone that could help us because he is superior in his practice. And he said, I will try my best, but there's no promises on how much I can do. So he could see the bone. There was no bone in her upper jaw, the upper mouth. So she had no bones, so how were they going to give her teeth? There was no hope, and she had no hope, and no one had hope. So after 3 months on the Juice Plus, they started the process. It took 1 year for this whole process to evolve. Not only did she get 1 implant, she got 6 implants in her upper mouth. Now, I want to tell you, for me, that was a miracle. And to see the x-rays in the beginning with no bone, how do you put an implant when you don't have bone? So when they started to work on her, and it took over a year, and she's still going, but it goes to show you that the power of antioxidants and proper nutrition into the bloodstream, reaching the tissues and building bone in her upper mouth. Now, for me, I was ecstatic, and I did convince her to take the Juice Plus. She was resistant, as many elderly are. They're very resistant to doing anything that is different from what they do. Now, I will say one thing about her. She had a whole closet of every vitamin in the world, and she had been taking them for years. They didn't help. She was a wonderful lady, and I had to tell her, I am sorry, but these do not work, and you need to take the recommendations that I'm making with this Juice Plus product, fruit, vegetable, berries, and the Complete and the Omega. I said, I'm sorry, but you have to do it for 4 months. Well, she's doing it more than 4 months because she's seeing the results. But what I'm trying to say is a whole closet. She must have spent thousands of dollars over the years. She had vitamin A and C and E and folic acid and multivitamins and B vitamins and calcium and vitamin E. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. So that's patient A, and it's a happy ending. And even the dentist, I keep telling them, you've got to look into the Juice Plus. But they'll come around. They're still kind of thinking that, oh, my God, how did she do that? Patient B developed a viral flu and a pneumonia as well. But what happened was the inflammation in her lungs and the respiratory tract led to inflammation in her brain neurons, and it caused memory loss and the inability for her to think. Just by getting the flu. It was a viral flu that attacked her brain. It attacked her lungs and then her brain. Okay. Now, her diet was very poor as well. She had mostly sugar, cookies, cake, ice cream, donuts, pizza. Many of our elderly are not, they're home alone, they're not cooking full meals, their dietary intake is very poor, so they're nutritionally compromised to begin with. They develop a viral infection or flu that goes to their brain. So one day they're absolutely fine, and the next day their inflammation that reaches the brain causes them to have memory loss and inability to think, so they're a different person. So when you go in and you introduce the Juice Plus and the Omega, and you start to nourish those brain cells or the respiratory cells that were damaged from the virus, it will take quite a bit of time to get the antioxidants into the bloodstream to help her recover the function of those brains. But the Juice Plus product, it's so powerful that the antioxidants that get into her bloodstream helps to heal, repair, and helps it to start to function again. Now, this doesn't happen overnight with a patient like this, but it takes a good 6 months. And then you begin to see them starting to function in a normal capacity, and you notice that the memory starts to improve. But that's why we have to stay really healthy, because if we get a viral flu and become so compromised that we can't function, our immune system should be strong enough so that we don't have that kind of a situation. So people who are taking the Juice Plus are protected. Their immune systems are strengthened. So they have a lot more of an ability to fight off infection and also to keep their cells healthy so they don't have a situation like that. I'm going to talk about patient D. Patient D, she had very severe diabetes, and they couldn't control it. She was on insulin, but her body was so nutritionally deprived because she wasn't eating anything. So by adding the fruit, vegetable, and berries into her diet, we were able to give the nutrients to the cells to improve the inflammation in her body, to improve her ability to lessen the sugar in the blood, and to improve her blood work. We have a blood test where we took, it's called an A1C, so we took the blood work repeatedly to see how we can improve her sugar in her blood, her numbers. And after 6 months, she was able to improve all of the numbers in her ability to fight the levels of high sugar in her blood that was causing the inflammation in her body. So it's always back to inflammation and damage to the cells, causing destruction and inability for those organs to function properly. So we did it, and she was able to feel healthier. You can't feel good when you have so much sugar in your body and not enough of insulin to come in and to lower that. So with the help of the doctors and the nutritional program, by adding antioxidants into her diet, she was able to improve her muscle strength, her walking, her immune system, her nervous function. And it's all because we added Juice Plus vitamins, minerals, and the nutrients that she was lacking. She was lacking in the deficiency of those nutrients that were nourishing her cells, and it was just causing more and more inflammation. So it really, really helps to improve the dietary daily intake by adding the antioxidants, the fruits, vegetables, and berries, because they have so many benefits. I mean, we can go through each and every one of those benefits, but it would take us, a while to do that. I also had another patient who was on Juice Plus for 11 years, and she loved her Juice Plus. She went to the doctors and called me one day and said, I have a tumor in my uterus. It's the size of a grapefruit, and my surgeon said to make clear that surgeon that it was cancerous because the way it looked, the size of it, the shape of it and everything. So it really shows you that some of the benefits that you don't feel today, you will get the benefit result when something like that happens. And she said to the doctor that I never forget to take my Vineyard Blend and my Juice Plus. And he said to her, you're right. The power of a berry is more powerful than a medication. And I'll never forget that she told me that. It was just amazing. And I'd like to share another story about another one of my patients who is 80 years old and was discharged from the hospital with heart failure, had several strokes, and had an inflammation in one of the valves in his heart. And they said that we were taking him home so he could die. Well, when we added Juice Plus, fruits, vegetables, and berries, this patient lived 6 years later. He did not die. We improved his nutritional program. We added the fruits, vegetables, and berries. We added the antioxidants to improve his circulation, to improve his brain function, to decrease his inflammation, to decrease his arthritic situation. We improved his red blood cells. We improved his blood work. And people couldn't believe he didn't die. And so it goes to show you that you never give up on a disease, or you never give up on someone that you can really help, because you know the outcome can only be positive. And I try telling this to people all the time. But some people just are very resistant. Now, I had a patient who had a cancer and went on the Juice Plus product and did very well, went into remission and decided that I don't need Juice Plus anymore. I'm cancer-free. And I advocated, please don't do that, because you may not see these healthy benefits in the future. And so I was right. The cancer came back 2 years later, and he was really very sad that he didn't listen to my advice. So we know that Juice Plus adds so many benefits. We know that the antioxidants decreases the inflammation, and everything today in medicine is about inflammation. But medications that are prescribed for all of those diseases and many more diseases, they cause lots of side effects. And these side effects damage other organs in our body. And we see this in our patients every day. So if you can get the nutritional program into their daily routine and introduce the Juice Plus product and try to get some of these patients off of these harmful medications, that will bring them good health in the future. And I always tell my clients that medications do things to you, and Juice Plus does things for you, because it's all natural and there's no side effects. Now, a lot of my clients talk to me and ask me about Coumadin. A lot of my cardiovascular patients or stroke patients, they're saying they're on this medication called Coumadin, and it thins their blood so they don't have clots. And, you know, it says, don't eat green leafy vegetables. And I say, well, I have many patients that have been on Juice Plus for 12 years and on Coumadin, and it does not change the Coumadin. It doesn't change the prescribed medication. What it does actually is it gives you a more balanced reading when they take the blood work for Coumadin, because Juice Plus doesn't change. It's the same thing in the garden vegetable. It doesn't change. Some people might eat spinach one day and broccoli the next day, but Juice Plus is one capsule. It has all of those garden vegetables in the capsule, and it's consistent. So people who take Juice Plus are much better off than the people that don't, because they change their diet and it becomes irregular, where Juice Plus is consistently the same day after day. And I'd also like to say something about black and blue marks. A lot of elderly people have very thin skin and they have black and blue marks. Well, the Juice Plus, believe it or not, helps to get rid of those black and blue marks, because those nutrients, those vitamins, the green leafy vitamins, the B vitamins and those green leafy vitamins, really helps to help that fade away much quicker than it would if you didn't have the Juice Plus product. Also, the Tower Garden, my clients are loving the Tower Garden. They have Tower Garden parties, and it's become a social thing. I mean, it's really nice because you can have the Tower Garden parties all year long, summer, winter, spring, fall, because it's inside. And some people say they don't even need night lights anymore because they have the grow lights. So it lights up their whole house, and they can make it to the bathroom during the nighttime, and they don't even need a night light. But the Tower Garden has really been a wonderful addition to add to the elderly. They use it as an activity. You know, they can go and pick their green leafy vegetables from there. They don't have to go out in the garden and get on their hands and knees, and so it's much easier to have a Tower Garden than to go out and maintain a garden in the backyard. So I think that, excuse me, I think the Tower Garden has really added a lot of wonderful happiness and a lot of oxygen to some of our senior living quarters. I'd also like to end by saying that, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And I tell my elderly, let's take the step together. And I want to thank everyone for coming on the line tonight. And I hope you did learn something because I really love my elderly, and I don't want you to forget them.
Well, I'll always love this call, Mary. I mean, and you always bring new things to it. She's shared with us many times, Mary has, and I love it because it's such amazing information. And for all of us, we all hope to, at some point in life, be in our 70s, our 80s, our 90s. We all want to live as long and as healthy as we possibly can. And I just think it's a great tribute to you also that you have this great interest in really doing as much as you possibly can to make that life in those years better for others. That's not always the case with people, and I just think that you're a real blessing to the world. And thank you so much for your information tonight. I have got pages of notes.
You're welcome. And, I did it a little different tonight. I hope it was okay.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And I mean, just knowing that, what was it that you said, that when your skin gets a bit flabby, it's due to inflammation. I mean, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Or sugar. I'm never putting another piece of sugar in my mouth. This call tonight. So thank you so much. I mean, it is one of the things we notice about people on Juice Plus is there is a healthy glow, a youthfulness, which, again, is a reflection of good health in people in our business and our customer base as they age. And so we're all right in there with it. We're all going in the same direction, hopefully, and that's a long, healthy, happy life. So thank you so much, Mary. We so
Thank
appreciate
you. It. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, everyone.
And good night to everyone on the line.
Good night.
Good.
Thank you.